What would be normal in Europe but horrifying in the US? Number 1. Speedos in a non-sporting context. Number 2. The German Foreign Ministry has a travel advisory that you should not photograph your own children naked when you are in the USA at the beach. In Germany, it is quite normal for small children to bathe naked on public beaches or in swimming pools. Number 3. Drinking alcohol in public spaces. In many European cities, it's perfectly acceptable to enjoy a drink in parks or on the streets, while in the US, it can lead to fines or legal issues. Number 4. Nudity in TV and print media. Number 5. Directness in communication. Europeans, especially in places like Germany or Netherlands, are often more straightforward in conversation, which might come off as blunt or rude to Americans used to more indirect communication. Number 6. I know this one. The size of parking spaces. Parking spaces in the US are 1.5x bigger than those of Europe, almost double at Costco. European vehicles are on average very small, and their parking spaces reflect that. I rented as Mazda 3 and it was a pretty tight squeeze in 99% of parkades. Consider that before you decide to rent an SUV or bigger. Number 7. Leaving your baby in the stroller while you have dinner. Normal in Denmark, and a few other European countries, gets you arrested for child endangerment in U.S.A. Number 8. Minimal air conditioning. Europeans tend to rely less on air conditioning even in warmer weather. Many Americans, used to blasting AC, might find it uncomfortable or surprising. Number 9. The tax included in the price of items at the store, not added at the checkout last minute. Never understood that about the Yanks. Number 10. Suggesting a medical visit for a mild injury. Number 11. Charging for water at a restaurant. Charging to use the restrooms. Number 12. Eating dinner at 10 p.m. In Europe, it's just a normal night out, but in the US, you'd be met with confused looks and a few "Are you planning to party with the vampires?" Number 13. Mass gathering without X-ray and bag checks. Number 14. Children walking or cycling to school and outside of school activities such as sport or theater, all by themselves. Number 15. Eating raw meat. Number 16. The size of a European cup of coffee. Number 17. Going to the center square of a town and popping a cold one. In the middle of the day, no brown bagging, just straight public intoxication. Maybe in front of the police station, even. Normal? Depends on the location. Horrifying for the free citizens of the land of the free? Totally. Number 18. Apparently free healthcare. Number 19. Having to pay a fairly significant sum of money to become a licensed driver. Getting a regular license in Europe is way more expensive than in the US. Number 20. Being able to vote even if never registered to vote, you are registered automatically, so that's not even a term. Your voting rights cannot be removed ever. Even if convinced of crime. Capital punishment is forbidden. You cannot give up your right to trial, unlike in the US where you are easily forced to give up the right to sue the companies that provide you the services. Number 21, I would say is more a Mediterranean thing, but eat your lunch with a glass of wine or beer. When I do this in the US, I look almost as an alcoholic. Same about smoke on the workplace, not inside the office but on the terrace or outside the office with the colleagues. Number 22, having your child go to school and return safely without having been murdered by a fellow classmate who was allowed to bring the automatic weapon his dad bought his for his 14th birthday? That would be pretty crazy in the US. Number 23, sufficient public transportation systems. Number 24, I might be showing my age, but drowning unwanted pups was pretty common in Ireland back in the 80s. Horrible when you think about it. Number 25, not singing the national anthem at every chance. Number 26, kids being left alone in homes for more than 15 minutes. Number 27, buildings that are over 300 years old being used instead of building new ones. Number 28, taking our shoes off when we get home. Number 29, how small food and drink portions are in Europe. Especially France has much smaller portions in everything than what Americans are accustomed to. Number 30, classic European etiquette does not allow the staff to bother you. It is very rude. The Americans seem to think it is very good if a server comes to talk to you when you are eating. I hate that custom. In Argentina, some places copy the European etiquette and some unfortunately the American one. The standard tip in Argentina is 10%, or even less in real life. I left an American tip there once, about 20%. The waiter was surprised, but very happy. So I told him, I am from Europe and you let me eat in peace. I want to thank you for that. Mind you, the same waiter was always available and helpful when I needed him and a genuinely nice man. I have noticed that some Americans give bad reviews to European restaurants that do not follow the American etiquette. The Americans like servers who bother them and find the opposite horrifying? I think that is a big cultural difference. Number 31, as an American, seeing people drive on the left side of the road would be horrifying. Number 32, shutting down markets at Sundays are perfectly normal in Europe. It may cause public outrage at U.S. Number 33, I'm an American living in Switzerland and at my gym there are almost always cleaning ladies walking around the men's locker room. They're all super nice. The guys are not shy about being naked in the locker room here, plus it's a gym that trends a bit gay, so we're all showing off more than we strictly need to. Nobody bats an eye. I think this would never fly in the US. Number 34, I was in a 4-star hotel in France once located in the business district of one of their major cities. Just beside the breakfast buffet, there was what could be described as an ant army crawling up the wall from the floor to some gap in the ceiling. This was very obviously visible to anyone getting their breakfast, but the French did not bat an eyelid. They were too busy loading their plates up with breads, cheeses, croissants, and pain au chocolates. I was thinking if this were in the US, they would be freaking out. Number 35, they don't refrigerate eggs in Europe, they don't need to. First time I saw it I was really thrown off.